The world first mocks a good idea, then opposes it, and finally accepts it. Man, think about how incredibly true that is, even today, right? Welcome, everyone. In this explainer, we're diving deep into the life of one of history's absolute heavyweights when it comes to spiritual leadership, Swami Vivekananda. And listen, we aren't just going to unpack his teachings as some dusty, ancient philosophy. No, we're looking at them as incredibly practical tools that you can literally use right now, today. So, our goal today is simple, but honestly, it's pretty profound. We are taking historical parables and translating them directly into modern-day practice. We're going to pull out 5 life-changing lessons from his journey. And look, these aren't just abstract ideas floating around in the clouds. These are direct, applicable strategies to help you live a more focused, compassionate, and resilient life every single day. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. 1. A short, impactful life. 2. True compassion. 3. Focus on your target. 4. Respect and dedication. And 5. Humor and continual learning.
All right, starting off with section 1, a short, impactful life.
To really wrap our heads around his teachings, we have to first step back and recognize the sheer historical scale of his brief time on Earth. I mean, Swami Vivekananda lived for only 39 years. Born on January 12, 1863, which, by the way, is a date now beautifully celebrated as National Youth Day in India, his impact in less than 4 decades was just absolutely staggering. Let's look at 1893, right? He traveled to the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago. And picture this. Amidst a sea of established, older religious figures from all over the globe, this young monk was given just 2 minutes to speak. Just 2 minutes. But when he stepped up to the podium and started his speech with 5 simple words, "My dear American sisters and brothers," the crowd was so deeply moved by his universal warmth that they literally gave him a 2-minute standing ovation before he even finished his thought. It's incredible. He then went on to establish the Ramakrishna mission to globally spread the inclusive thoughts of Sanatana Dharma, the eternal order and spiritual foundation of Hindu philosophy. And he kept up this tireless work right up until entering Mahasamadhi, his final conscious departure from the physical body in July 1902. Moving on to section 2, true compassion. You know, to really understand his immense empathy, we don't actually need to look at his grand global speeches. Instead, we can look at a super simple, quiet story from his childhood. One day, young Vivekananda's mother was busy working in the kitchen, and she asked him to hand her a knife. Now, when he picked it up, he didn't just casually toss it over or hand it handle first without a second thought. Nope. Instead, he deliberately grabbed the sharp, cutting edge of the blade tightly in his own palm so he could extend the completely safe wooden handle toward his mother. It's such a tiny, almost unnoticeable detail, but wow, it speaks volumes about his character. He actively risked cutting his own hand, taking the danger entirely upon himself, just to make 100% sure his mother wouldn't get hurt. Seeing this profound little gesture, his mother actually predicted his future right then and there. She looked at him and said, "You will help many and receive much love." So, what does this all mean for us today? Well, it shows us that true compassion always starts at home. This story brilliantly illustrates how absolutely crucial it is to recognize and praise those small acts of goodness right within our own families. Think about it. When a child or a partner or a friend shows instinctual kindness, acknowledging it encourages them to grow. Humanity, at its absolute core, isn't built on massive historical events. It's built on these tiny, everyday, selfless choices we make for the people right in front of us.
That brings us to section 3, focus on your target.
Vivekananda famously declared this rally cry, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." And he brilliantly illustrated the heavy cost of losing that focus with a great story. A man once came to him, completely exhausted and frustrated, complaining that he couldn't achieve his goals no matter how hard he worked. The Swami listened patiently, and then told the guy to go take his pet dog for a walk first, and they talk after. Well, when the man eventually came back, the dog was heavily panting, tongue hanging out, just completely wiped out. The man, on the other hand, looked perfectly fine. So the Swami asked why there was such a difference. The man explained, "Well, I walked straight down the path. But the dog, he ran after every single butterfly, chased every squirrel, barked at every passing shadow. He ran 10 times the distance I did, just darting back and forth."
The Swami smiled warmly and said, "This is the exact summary of your life. The crucial takeaway here is that your goal is right in front of you. But, exactly like that dog, are you getting exhausted because you're constantly looking at what everyone else is doing? We've all been there, right? You see someone succeeding in a totally different career and you instantly want to pivot. You see a shiny new trend or some viral video on social media, and boom, you chase it right down the rabbit hole. You end up doom scrolling through a dozen different lives instead of actually living your own. So, I have to ask you, are you completely exhausting your energy running after every single shiny distraction instead of just walking calmly and straight towards your own true goal?
All right, let's look at Section 4, Respect and Dedication. This section covers two deeply connected traits that really defined who he was: his profound respect for women and his unwavering dedication. So, there's the story. Once, while traveling abroad to spread his teachings, a foreign woman approached him. She was deeply impressed by his incredible intellect, and believe it or not, she outright proposed marriage. She explained she wanted to marry him specifically so she could have a child with his exact level of intelligence. Swami Vivekananda respectfully declined, but notice exactly how he did it. He didn't mock her request, he didn't act offended. Instead, he simply said, "I'm a monk, so I cannot marry. But if you want someone exactly like me, why don't you accept me as your son?" The woman fell to his feet in reverence. He expertly protected his monastic vows while entirely honoring, validating, and respecting her wish. Talk about a masterclass in grace. In that exact same 100% devotion was powerfully visible in how he treated his mentor, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. When his beloved guru was gravely ill with throat cancer, he grew very weak, and caring for him became a really visceral, physically demanding task. At one point, another disciple actually made a face in sheer disgust while cleaning the guru's spittoon, which contained blood and phlegm from the illness. Seeing this reaction, Vivekananda immediately stepped in. He took it upon himself to clean it daily, and he did it without a single hint of hesitation or disgust. It's a heavy reminder for us that true dedication means serving those who guided you with absolute love, especially when the task is difficult, unpleasant, or completely thankless. Which leads us to our final core trait, Section 5, Humor and Continual Learning. We so often think spiritual leaders just sit around being entirely serious all the time, right? But true intelligence absolutely requires a great sense of humor. Just look at this brilliant step-by-step de-escalation. Once, while dining at a restaurant abroad, a rather arrogant foreign officer sat nearby and insultingly told the Swami, "Pigs and birds don't sit together." It was obviously meant to be a direct provocation. But without missing a single beat, Swami Vivekananda just smiled and smoothly replied, "Then I will fly away." Boom. The entire room erupted in laughter. The heavy tension was instantly and completely diffused. Having a sharp, quick sense of humor is honestly one of the most powerful, intelligent tools you can have to navigate difficult, dramatic situations gracefully. As we reach the end of his journey, we look at his final quiet days. In July 1902, right before entering Mahasamadhi on the banks of the Ganges in Belur, he spent his time doing what he always did: meditating, teaching, and studying. On his very last day, aware that his time was coming to a close, he calmly noted, "Another Vivekananda is needed to understand what this one has done." His self-awareness of the massive philosophical foundation he had laid for future generations was absolute. He knew, for sure, that he had built a lasting bridge between the East and the West. So, let's synthesize all of this into his 5 ultimate rules for life. Number 1, think, don't worry. Worrying literally only drains your energy, but deep thinking births brand new ideas. Number 2, do one thing at a time and throw your whole soul into it. Number 3, arise, awake, and do not stop until you reach your specific goal. Number 4, commit to learning for as long as you live. And finally, number 5, view the world not as a heavy burden, but as a gym, a place we actively come to in order to make ourselves much, much stronger. What you should really take away from this explainer is that absolutely every challenge is an opportunity for profound growth. Which leaves us with this final thought for you to carry into your week. If this world is indeed a gym designed to make us stronger, what weights are you lifting today? Are you building your focus? Are you expanding your compassion? Or are you deepening your dedication? Keep lifting, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.